Okay, we'll start it. Let's the other might join. Let's not waste much time. So you remember, right? What is our last session? String. We should start with string today. Already we have a brief idea about string, but that is not enough. We need to have more deeper understanding about strings. Also, I believe apart from that, we also have discussed about many things about string. So today's session is very useful for all of us. So this one. We had discussed about slicing in the last session, if you remember, right? How to apply slice. And we had discussed few scenarios like, I told you how to, when should we apply slice and when should we apply split operator in string class, if you remember. I hope you remember that, right? So, and also we have discussed about all these functions. So length function, how to get length of a string. And then also we had discussed about many other things like about all this methods of string, like what is lower, what is upper, what is count, what is swap case, what is find, difference between find and index, all these things, friends. Okay, just a minute, friends. Sorry, friends, there was some noise coming from outside. Just thought to check it. Yeah, let's continue. So also we discussed this, how to work with L strip, R strip, and then is all num, is alpha, all this we had discussed it. Okay. I believe I have shared these recordings. Please go through that. And if you still have any questions, we can discuss. We had discussed again max, min, and also I have covered this the split thing in the last class. The purpose, and this is very useful method. Again, if you ask me, the most used methods in coding, in day-to-day coding, split is also very useful, friends. Okay, so that's all about this one. All this there, these are all I know very important methods. And if you are familiar with this, these are more than sufficient to handle string operations in Python. Is that clear, friends? Okay. Next one, iterating a column. So sorry, iterating a collection. I don't. Yeah, no problem. Iterating a collection in sense we know how to iterate strings, right? We can iterate it with for loop or while loop. We can iterate it in two ways. Even we had discussed that in the last session, how to apply for loop and iterate a string, and how to apply while and iterate a string. Right, starts with and ends with. So this is we should understand. I think we didn't discuss this from here onwards. I think we can talk about strings and string concept. Okay, so starts with means even these are useful, friends, because I remember using these methods in our coding in some cases. So, see, when you look at the name of these methods or functions, you can easily understand what these functions are doing or methods are doing. So, when you say starts with, it checks whether a string starts with a given chars or substring, or otherwise given a substring instead of chars, we can say the best word is substring. That one character is also a substring, two or three characters are some n characters is also a substring, something which is part of your string. That part can be one or two or three or four or five or n number of characters, but we can call it as a substring. Okay. So for a given substring, that's it. Similarly, you can also say given So this makes more sense. This word, this kind of you know, what shall I say? This grammar is always makes more technical. Okay, so that's about it. So even ends with and starts with means you check whether a substring starts with something or not. Like for example, Amitabh Bachchan. I think we did this example. I hope if Amitabh in Amitabh Bachchan, we should check if it starts with Amitabh or not. Second one ends with. We should check if the string ends with Bachchan or not. I think we had discussed this as well. Yes. Index thing we had discussed, and we discussed between find difference between find and index also. So find doesn't return error, whereas index returns error if the given substring is not found. If the given substring is not found, then what happens? Index method returns a value error saying substring not found. Whereas find doesn't throw any error, but returns -1 simply. So that is difference between these two. Okay. Next one, replace. Replace scenario, you can simply try that. It replaces old character with new character. You can see here I have a string with a3. When I say s dot replace of I comma a, wherever there is a, that get replaced with I. Maybe if you want, you can quickly check it. So I'm opening PyCharm. Let me open PyCharm. All of you, please open any idle, any one of the idle available in your machine, either IDE, sorry, any one of the IDE, either idle or PyCharm or Jupyter or anything which you are familiar. Okay, I think we have here, we are able to come here. In the last class, I think we have discussed all this stuff. You can see so many are there here. So split and slicing, all that we did in the last session. So next here, so another one is replace. We can quickly test this replace stuff. Okay. So maybe what I do is we did still, let me check the, yeah, this is working fine. Till this, if you see here, I printed this. Till this we did in the last session. Now we are adding few more methods to this string program. So that is about replace. You can simply copy paste here and you can test it. Nothing big issue. So when I say replace, either you can assign this whole result to some variable or you can print it directly. It's up to you. So copy to some third variable or otherwise print it. Okay, friends. So print of ES5 and then save it and then right click and then run string functions. Only check on the last one. Okay. Maybe if you want, you can check with, otherwise I'll add here. Okay. Testing replace method. That should be fine for you to see the output. Okay. Now let me run this, run functions. You can see here. So instead of wherever there is I, in place of I, what happened, friends? A got replaced here. If you see here. Okay. So that's how it happens here with replace. You can also test it. It's not something really difficult to do it. So join means it does a concatenate list of strings. I'll show you at the end. There is a sample program for this, a quick test sample snippet. We'll check on this. Okay. So at the end that is there. I will show you how to work with that. No issues with that. Okay. So that's about this one, friends. What is that? This replace stuff. Sorry. I'm sorry. Let's move to the next concept, special operators. Okay. So here, special operators in sense, one is plus concatenation. So plus is something. Jain will take it at the end. Okay. Maybe if you ask me how it works, we'll see it at the end of this session. But now, special operators. If you have any questions, please type in the chat box, friends. If you know, any doubts or if you want anything to repeat or something, what you can do is please ping in the chat. Right. So special operators plus. Maybe we already used plus in the beginning while discussing operators. So, but here again, we have plus in two forms. It comes in two forms: arithmetic plus and relay this concatenation plus. Arithmetic plus means what? It all depends on operands. So again, what shall we say? It depends on the operands thing. Okay. So when we talk about plus operator, okay. So what it does is it concatenate two strings. Of course, it depends on the operands. So this comes in two forms. Actually, if you ask me, this is very important concept, friends. A similar concept exists in Java or C Sharp, all these kind of OOP languages, object-oriented languages. If you talk about Python, remember this, friends. Again, we'll again talk about this. Python is in fact a pure object-oriented compared to Java and C Sharp as well. Even though this supports multi-paradigm style of programming, means multi-paradigm means it supports functional, it supports OOP, it supports iterative style, all different varieties. But the point is, friends, here in Python, everything is an object. There is no primitive or built-in. At least in Java or C Sharp, you have built-in data types like int, char, float, all that. But in Python, everything is a class. Everything is an object. Otherwise, sorry, everything is an object. From that, we can conclude one thing: Python is more pure is pure object oriented. So that's why understanding this plus is important. So when you say plus, this plus can be in two forms. If you want to clearly understand, it comes into understand this very much clearly, friends. It might be useful for you when you are doing this development. One, it is an arithmetic plus. Two, another one is relational plus. Sorry, concatenation. I think my mind is suddenly concatenation. Concatenation plus. Okay, arithmetic plus when this is called, it depends on operands, friends. Suppose you have something like uh, a plus b. Now, if I ask a question, which plus is called means we can't answer this unless we see the value. Suppose you see here, friends, a is 10 and b is 20. When I say a plus b, in this expression, a plus b, this is what we call expression. In this expression, a plus b, this a is a numeric operand, b is numeric operand, left operand is numeric, right operand is numeric. So point, friends, point is, what is here? If both are numeric, then arithmetic plus is called. Arithmetic plus is called. Understand this carefully, friends. Okay. Uh, then suppose concatenation plus one, this is called simple. Suppose you have a string like this, some a equal to some abc and b equal to bbc. Just take a simple example. You don't need to worry about anything. So in this case, I say a plus b, friends. Variable names are your choice. I just for quick testing, I am choosing just a and b. Now in the second scenario, I am saying a plus b, friends. Which plus is called? Again, it depends on the operands. What is left operand? What is right operand? What are both the types of operands here? What type are these both operands? So that is the question here. In this case, left operand is a string, right operand is a string, both are strings. Then which plus is called here? We can be very sure. For sure, here concatenation plus is called. Which plus is called, friends? Concatenation plus, not arithmetic. Why? These are not numeric variables. These are string variables. Then These are string operands, then concatenation plus is called here. Concatenation means what is the difference between arithmetic plus and concatenation plus? If it is arithmetic plus, it performs addition. If it is concatenation plus, it doesn't perform addition. It simply combines this A and B. That's all, friends. It don't do addition, just combines these two values. ABC and BBC, it just combines. Concatenation plus is called here in this case. Then what happens? It just simply combines both operands. That's all, friends. Like, here the answer will be ABC, BBC, something like this. Okay, we get output like this. If you want, you can quickly test this example. Suppose you take this and come here and apply this. Okay. So what we are testing here, this plus operator. So now print. What I am doing now? Only concentrate at the last operation we do. We'll leave about other things. Okay. Testing plus. Now, in this case, when I print A plus B, friends, I'm just directly doing it. I don't know which plus will be called now, but of course, I am aware as a developer. I know definitely here arithmetic plus will be called. Now run this. So run and see the output here. Testing plus, and we got 30. Suppose you see here another scenario. We have ABC and BBC and A plus B. Another scenario. Let us apply that here. Okay. So now again print it. You don't need to add any comment for now because we are doing quick testing now. In this case, again see this. This is case 1, right? And this is a case 2. We have one case here. First case, we already tested that. This is second case. We are testing this. Now right click and then apply. Now what happened now? If you see here in the output, this time we didn't get any addition, but simply ABC and BBC are combined. Now obviously you have another question in your mind. If both are strings, okay, concatenation is called Manoram. And if both are integers, arithmetic plus is called. Then suppose if one is a string, one is numeric, then which is called? Is it concatenation or is it arithmetic? So I am going to ask this question to you. Please answer in the chat box. Suppose we have mixed operands here. So we have, so I'll say C equal to someone. I say A plus C now. So what is the answer now? So which plus is called? A is, you see here now. Now at the moment here, don't see here. Leave about this part. Here A is a string, C is integer. Then when I say A plus, which plus is called? Arithmetic plus or concatenation? Please answer in the chat box. Okay, concatenation plus. Please answer, friends, no problem. If it is wrong also, there is nothing. We don't have any issues, okay? Anyhow, we'll talk about it. Obviously, see, a string plus anything. There is a famous statement in programming. So anything, if it come and joins with string plus, I'll give a simple tip for you to remember this. String plus anything, what, friends? You go and join with string, you become a string, means concatenation plus. Which plus? Concatenation. I'm just write in short form. Concatenation plus is called. Anything plus string. Again, you go and join with string, then you become what, friends? Obviously, you become a string only. Here also, concatenation plus only. And last scenario, string plus anything. Definitely, string plus anything becomes what? String plus anything, obviously straightforward, right? String plus anything is string only. Even in this case, concatenation plus is called. Okay. This is general universal thing. Just to remember this. This is a blind tip for you. This is applicable in almost in all languages. If you remember this, this is applicable not only in Python. This is applicable in Java, C# or any languages. Now again, coming back, let us see little deeper in Python. Let us observe this little deeper in Python. But here, if you try this, we have to see cross check this if this work here or not. And if it don't work, should we give up or is there any alternative way to make it up? Right? That is what we have to observe carefully because this is important. So I'm spending little time here. So now I think many of us has answers. This is quite good. So concatenation, that's pretty correct. Now in the but let us test it. But this won't work straight. This won't work straight, friends. Even though if you say now A is replaced. If you want, don't get confused. You can take X and as ABC, Y as BBC. Let you leave that A and B as is X plus Y. You please test it yourself. If you have opened your IDs, so take some Z equal to 10. Now you apply print. So X plus Z. Now try this. Or X plus A or A plus X, anything is fine. Now run this. Right click, run function. Then here you can see at the end, you can see here, there is an error, type error you can see. What is this? This is a compilation error and it's saying what is this? Can only concatenate string, not into to string. There is some compatibility issue raised here. See, this is what happens in Python. In other languages, that will work directly. Suppose if you go to Java, this is apply. This works very fine. Just concatenation plus is called. And even in the second case, concatenation plus is called. Even in the third case, no, but we don't need to think much about the third case. Both are strings, it works very well. But in Python, third case works pretty well. But first and second needs little adjustment. It won't work directly. Then what you should, if you see in the output, we got an error. It is saying that this guy, who is this guy? This Z is int, and it is saying it can only concatenate string. Is this clear, friends? Then what shall we do now? So if this is the error, there is a should we give up? Scenario one, scenario two. Can we make it up? Make it up means can we make some adjustment and make sure that this concatenation happens? This is case two. So we have two cases. Should we give up is case one. Case two is can we do some adjustment and make this concatenation? So what shall we do now? So then in this case, what is that? Yes, there is nothing in programming. We have always a way to do these things. So here I taught you this concept of conversion. You remember? Did I discuss type conversion in Python? Please answer in the chat box, friends. Please confirm in the chat box. Did we use not like that? It has to be integer only, Harish. Then we should do conversion. That's all. If you directly add quotes means we are declaring a string again, then concatenation automatically happens. So we should apply some casting or conversion. Quick question, friends. Did I discuss type conversion in Python? No, right? I'll talk about it. For now, what we should do, this int has to be converted to string. So here apply str and then pass this z to str function or method. When I pass this z to str, then what happens, friends? This integer gets converted to string. If you right, so now you don't have any error. So this is called converting any type to string. Here it is int actually. If you pass, this is the str method. What happens here is we have a method called str. This str method, str is a class. This method, this is a method. It is a conversion method. What it does, converts any type to string. So that's what this method do. This helps in type conversion, that to string type. Is this clear? Right. So let me just there's a typo here. Okay. So this is what we should apply now. So here, remember these important points, friends. So point one, when you try to add or when you try to concatenate a string and any other numeric type, it throws an error saying that type error. Why? Because these two are not compatible. Then in such case, convert this numeric type to string by applying this str method. It's so simple. Just pass that variable to that method, then it automatically converts to string type. That's all, friends. So what do we do right now? This time, do you think our execution will be successful? Does it get succeeded or any error? No. This time it will work, friends. You see here, run function, and you can see here ABC 10 got both got concatenated here. Right. Means what? Here, this is what the observation you have to keep in mind. Whenever you try to combine a string and some numeric variable in Python, or what you should do, in this case, it both are not compatible. We have to convert that other type to string and then we should concatenate. Maybe if you ask me, suppose we have complex type here, Manoram. Suppose you take x, y, z, some c equal to, I said some 10 plus 20j. Now I want to combine this with string. I am saying, let me just show you here x plus c. C is the, what is this complex type? Now you want to just quickly see, okay, numeric plus string is not directly working. It needs a conversion. So we did the conversion of that numeric type to string using str method. That is fine. Now another scenario. We have a complex type and we are trying to concatenate with string. Will it work directly? Rightly? Just check it quickly. Okay. X plus C. Where is the output? Just a minute. I am not seeing out why it's. Let me run it again. 10 plus 20j should be fine. You can see here. This is the error. Why we are not seeing this output means type error. You can see. Again, maybe if you can ask me again, is it possible to do this operation or impossible means answer is it's possible, not directly, just by converting this complex type to str string. Simply pass this C to str method. Now run this. This will work definitely. Right click and then run. You can see now. So this both got concatenated now. So ABC is string and 10 plus 20j is a complex. Now you are able to concatenate. But what is that you should do here? Every time if you have string plus anything, that anything has to be converted to string type and then we should apply concatenation. Then only it works. That is the conclusion. Are you good now? Is this clear to all of you friends? Please, okay, please observe this and understand it carefully. Right. I'm switching to the next scenario, next concept. Why 20 plus 10 plus 20j is in brackets? Yes. See, generally, when you take this complex, what happens? Complex is included is in a tuple. This is called, this brackets is called tuple here. So what your interpreter will do here, somebody is asking, right? So that ABC plus complex, internally interpreter will add this complex number to a tuple and then combine that with this string. So that's why you are seeing brackets some KK. Is that clear? Can we take only real or imaginary part in a complex number? Yes, Harish, we can do that by applying, you know, some kind of method. We can break down. No issues. Got it? Right. So now, okay, I think this is clear. Maybe if you want, I'll show. We can try with few examples later. First, let's finish this. I'll come back with some use cases on your questions. No issue with that. So that's all, friends. This is all about the important discussion about concatenation. We spent enough time on this. Let us jump to the next scenario. Okay. So these are all other examples, use cases for string. So here you can answer this. This is string. This is string. Will it work or not? String plus a string is string. Concatenation plus is called here, and it combines these two strings. Okay, fine. Next here, what is this here? So read into three. What we are doing here, friends? Read into three means nothing, friends. This is a repetition operator or multiple occurrence operator. This star represents occurrences of some string. If you say three, the same string is concatenated for three times. If you say four, four times, five times, n means n times. So you can quickly check this. Okay. So what is this? This is another operator which you can apply in string. Suppose when you are adding some data, and if you want same string repetitively added, then what you have to do? So then we can apply this. What is that? That into operator here. Okay, let's run this. You can get a quick idea. Of course, the error is with codes, no doubt. Just change the codes. That will work now. Okay, right click and then now you can see here red is occurred for repeated for how many times? It is occurred for three times. Suppose if you add some 10, it repetitively adds this 10 for 10 times. That's how this operator works. Okay, you can see here red. Right, this is another operator which we apply on strings. Okay, next one after that. Uh, that's all, friend. This scenario we had discussed. What is this note here? I think we should be very clear with this now because it's a very detailed discussion we had now. We cannot concatenate a number, not only number. We cannot concatenate any other type. Okay, with string directly. With string directly, we should convert. I, we should convert. I'm just changing the statement now. We should convert any type to string using the str and apply plus. That's what we should do here, friends. This we already did, right? I believe we already did, and you are very clear with this. So I am switching this discussion now. Now here they are talking about some string plus this thing. We already discussed this, so I'm skipping this. Let's leave that. Now other operators which we can apply on string. Asterisk, asterisk just now we applied create a new strings, concatenates multiple copies of the same string. This is clear for all of us. Yes or no? We just tested it. I believe you are also testing along with me because you have sufficient time to do that testing as well. So this is how this operator works. Okay, next one. This index operator. What is this index? The returns of a character from a given string. Maybe if you have a doubt or something, let me quickly show you. If you just want to have a quick recap of it. Suppose you have a string, something like some str equal to, you can take simple string no. Okay, I'm just taking a simple short one. So how index works? Returns a character from a given index. You know, right? I had already discussed in the beginning of this string class last week. Every string has an indexing, and you have two types of indexing in Python: a positive and negative indexing. Positive indexing starts from 0 to n minus 1. Negative starts from minus n to minus 1. Right? That's how this indexing works. And you can apply slicing in by mixing also. I told this. So now here, apart from that, you know, this already has indexing. Now I want to extract each character from this string. Then how do I do that? Simply speaking, we can extract each character by using this index operator and passing that index of character in the string. When I say s of 0, the character from 0th index is written here. What is this? What is there in 0th index? N is there, that gets written here. So what? Similarly, if you want, you can print many more like this. Okay, so s of 1, and then S of 2 like this. Okay. And then right click and then run this. You can see here now. Uh, I think I am doing, why I got VAD because see, my string is str, right? So please make a small correction. I am doing a small correction here. So my variable is totally different. So now you see, with this index operator, we are able to extract each character from that string from the respective index. Right click and then run string file. You can see when you have no, no. Hey, you can try like this is how index operator works in Python. I hope this is clear for all of you. This is a quick idea for you how this works in Python, right? And this is what this scenario is simply speaking. So this is this one. We already did that, right? Next one, slice operator. Slice we are very much familiar, and we did a lot of slicing. Right. Maybe if you want, I'll anyhow we keep doing working with slicing. Okay. But slice is very useful operator and try to play with slice as much as possible. What slice does we know already we had discussed. It returns a substring in a given range. Right. It has a start index and end index. And when you specify that, it brings that substring from the given string by applying slice. Slice means just break down string into some slices, some parts, and return whichever you want. That's it. Right. That's all about that one. Next one, not in and not in. These are all very useful. These two operators are these are very useful operators in string. Not only in string, these are applicable on collections as well, on data structures as well, like list or like the dictionary or tuple or any of this data type. I mean data structures. Okay, so what in means checks whether a character exists within a given string. What is not in? Checks whether a character doesn't exist or not. That's all, friends. So what do you do right now? Just quickly test it. If you want, we can do a quick test here. So what we are doing now, we are just testing with this one. I'm adding the same here just for your reference. Okay. Now I'm applying in. So take some string, anything. Already we have multiple strings. A quick test here. Usually we can do this with if here. If usually some you take any character of your choice. Suppose some n. I'm just checking if n exists in the string str. Okay. Then what shall I say? Print. Uh, we can simply specify uh, match. We can simply we have a match. Else we can say no match. Simply just a quick check. Okay. So we can validate like this. Usually when you have that, we can quickly validate if some character, if some substring, if some value exists in some specific collection or not. See, I am using the word collection because this scenario, this case is not just applicable only for string. This is applicable for entire collections. This in can be applied not only with string, it can be applied with other collections as well, like list or like tuple or like dictionary or all the set or anything. Is this clear, friends? Now run this quickly because I didn't declare separate variables here. I'm using this already, which is declared here. I'm checking with whether this n exists in this string str or not. So here even n is treated as a substring, even though it's a single character. Just keep in mind. Now, if I run this, what will be the output now? N in str. It is a straightforward, general, simple English, right? N in str means yes. Okay, right. Or no, true or false. It returns true or false. That's all. But now we should see if it returns true or false because n is in lowercase now, but here n is in uppercase. Then what happens? Do you think this is a match or no match? Obviously, my answer is no match. Let's right click and then run this. You can see here no match. Why? Python is case sensitive, right? So it differentiate uh, smaller smaller case and uppercase. Any slight difference in the cases, if it is uppercase or smaller case, then they are treated differently. So in this case, what should I do now? Use capital N, not small n. Is this clear now, friends? Then in this case, if you have a match, got it right? This is how you should validate this in operator. So I hope this is so simple, right? It's just like as if looking into a bunch of see this thing and seeing if that is there or not. That's all, friends. So this is a quick idea about friends, idea about in operator. And again, suppose not in is opposite to that. You can say n not in that string, then no match. Otherwise, match. So opposite to that. Suppose you can see here is capital N not in the string str, means this is false. But your statements has to change according to condition. If you keep these print statements as is, means again we are messing up this code, this messing up this program. This statements has to come out according to the this condition. So and not in str means then you should say no match. If it is not there, then no match. Else there is a match. This time it has to be like this. Now right click, right. So just a minute, 1 minute. N not in str. Sorry, it's true only, right? N not in, correct. No match. Let me just test it now. Right click and then run. Why it's going to else part? This is getting false here. 1 minute. Let me fix it. Not in str. That is true. If it is true, it's not there. Then no match. Why it is going to else part? Right click. That's correct only, right? Yeah. Because n not in str, this is false, correct. It goes to match. Yes, correct. N not in str is false, right? Yes, perfect. So point is simple. It's working as expected. N not in str means this is false, right? When if this is false means what? Then it goes to this. So then the statements has to be like this only, friends. I think I just got confused. So it's no match only. Suppose here, if you see, this is false, right? When it is false, because n is there in str, right? If n is there in str, then it is true. N not in str means this is false because n is there. That's why. So what happens now? It goes to this. Now right click. Then this is perfect. Right now, suppose you take small n. This is obviously right. Is this capital N? Not in this one, right? This is true. Now let's run this now. You can see here match. Match in sense what? This is true. Then I'm just adding like this. Right. So that's all. This should be perfect now. Clear now? So we have to understand like how this is working. N is not in str. This is true. If this is true, this gets executed, right? Earlier, that's perfect only. N not in is false, so it's no match because actually, but N not in this is true, then we got match. That's all. Or otherwise, best thing you can just change this to match or non-match. You can simply say true or false. Just change this to true or false. That makes more sense for us. That gives more clarity. So in this at this time, N not in str. Right click and then This is true, right? Why? Because n is really not inside str. Suppose you take this n, capital N in not str. This is false. So what is this? It goes to else part. This makes more sense for us. Okay, that's all, friends. Yeah, I think we are clear now. Got it now? Is this clear now? Understood? So that's a quick idea about what in and not in, and you should just check like which applies to your use case, and then you can apply it. Understood? No? Right. Next after this. Still, if you have any questions, if any confusion, please ask me. We'll discuss. That's all about it, friends. Next one is and is not. So you are good with this, right? Let's just jump to the next topic. What is that next topic? Is and is not. This is also very useful. All these are something what we discuss here now are very useful scenarios, friends. Remember, these are all useful use cases or scenarios. Right, next one. Is means checks whether address of two objects are same or not. Is not means checks whether address of two objects are not same. See, it's simple, right? One is opposite to another. That's all. Is not and is. Right? And what is doing here? Is checking with it is working with addresses, friends. What is it doing? It is working with addresses. Keep in mind. Now, again, you can ask me a question. Where do I go and get these addresses, Manoram? Right. So then the answer is, the answer. If you want to get the address, then what should we apply? We should apply ID. You can see here, friends. We should apply ID function, ID method. Right? So what should you do right now? If you see ID, then you understand what is the address of two different variables. Right? Let's apply this is operator, whether they are same or different. You also understand some quite interesting information here. So what you do now, we are going to talk about two different operators, is and is not. These two we are talking about. Now what do you do? First thing, you take a variable some v1 equal to some 10. Second one, variable v2 equal to 20. First, what you do is, friends, just try to print the addresses of v1 and v2. We don't directly deal with address, just checking. Okay. So print ID of v1. Observe this carefully. And again, print ID of v2. Now right click and then run this. Now if you see these addresses, observe these addresses. Are these same or different? So now you can see here address of v1 is same. This is something like this, and v2 is also same. Interestingly, if you see here, both are same. Then again you have question now. What is that question? Array Manoram, you are declaring v1 as 10, v2 as 20. Both are two different variables. How come the addresses are same? This is the question now. You got my question, friends? Now you might this question runs in your mind. Array, these two variables are different. Why addresses are same? What's happening here? Any magic? Nothing happens. In programming, magic don't exist. It's all about the concept. Right? So why this is like this? Addresses are not same for v1 and v2. Let's see it. Observe here. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Again, there is a little confusion. Yes. Let me put 10 now. That's true. You somebody pointed out correct only. Yeah. Yes, correct. You are correct. Now let me change this scenario. So I am going with a different scenario. Value, I am assuming it as 10. Now you can see. Yes, thanks for correcting. Correctly pointed. I agree. These are not same. Now actually this is the scenario what I am talking now. This works fine. This is case 2. Now I'll go one by one now. So case 1, I am dealing with this. See this now. Yeah, thanks. Correct. Yeah, noted. Now observe this now. In this case, what variable 1 is 10, variable 2 is 10. Now, if I print this, we might expect what different addresses. Yes, this is the scenario I am concentrating. Yeah, maybe I misread this. This 60 I missed. Okay, and also few things are changing at the end. Correct. Now let's see this now. This case 1, and again we come back to this scenario again. Definitely. So in this scenario, these two are different variables, right? When you say right click, run. Now this is what I am actually talking, but somehow I misread that. Okay, please ignore that. Now see this. Now when I print like this, what is your observation here? Both addresses are same. And now the question is, how come these two are same? Here the variables are different, right? But the addresses are same. And there is a question running in the mind now. In this case 1, I just keep it as case 1 now. What is that question? How come these two addresses are same, Manoram? When the values are, when the variables are different. So this concept is called immutability in Python. What is that? So there is a concept of immutability. You should learn this. That's why I just took this case here. Case 2, which we have observed earlier, which I went wrong. So that is straightforward. No issues with that. But if it is case 1, this we have to observe case carefully. So now when you look at this, usually we printed ID of V1 and V2. Suppose you don't print the ID now, see, then you are just directly checking print V1 is V2. What is the meaning of V1 is V2? What we are doing here, friends? We are comparing address of V1 with V2. So if suppose you didn't see the output now, you didn't observe the output of V1 and V2 for the first time. Of course, if you are already having some idea about this scenario, is fine. Suppose you are seeing this for the first time. Okay, then what is your answer here? What do you answer here? True or false? Please answer in the chat box. Suppose this is the first time you are seeing this scenario. Now you know what is operator. It compares addresses. So what do you answer if it is your first this thing observation? So please answer in the chat box. Will you answer it as true or will you answer it as false? Now it is true. You might answer true, but I am asking. Suppose you are just seeing this scenario for first time. Definitely, if it is me, so V1 is V2 means I don't answer true, but my answer is what? I'll answer false. Why? I might think V1 is a different variable, V2 is a different variable, so that I am expecting a different addresses for V1 and V2 with the programming based some fundamental knowledge I have. Is this clear, friends? Are you following? So true is fine, but my question is different, right? What is that? For the first time, if you are seeing it, what do you think? Obviously, majority of the people answer this as false, not true. Why? Because variables are different. You got my question? Did you get that by a point? But now, when you print this, let's run this now. First, let's run this program. All of you are giving answer, perfect, right answer. Okay, that's really good for us. But my question is different, right? So now you get true. But if it is for first time, if you are seeing this use case, there will be a confusion among you. Why this is giving true? Both are different variables. Okay, both are leave about if value is same. Both are different. V1 is different. V2 is different. When you compare two different variables, you expect a different address for V1. Suppose assume that you might expect 101 for V1. You might expect 20 for 20. Just assume I am saying. I'm not saying these are correct addresses. You might think you might have a different address for V1, different address for V2. But when we compare V1 is V2, we might expect false also, because for first time I'm saying, you might be thinking that this is false because V1 might have different address, V2 might have different address, but output is true. It's saying both addresses are same. Then the question is, what is the question now? When these two variables are same, why addresses are, so sorry, when these two variables are different, when these two variables are different, why addresses are same in this case? So this is the question. Question is, I'm adding this so that it will be very clear for you. When these two variables, understand all this carefully, friends. This helps you a lot to understand Python. These two variables are different. Why? Addresses are same. Right? So this is question one. This is question. Okay, we'll talk about it. I'll give a very detailed analysis. There's a very big topic behind this. We'll talk about it. That's perfect, Vijay. Your answer is perfect. Right? Oh, no problem. So, right, we'll talk about this scenario. Again, for time being, what I do before I go and talk about this one, for time being, I'm taking another scenario. Suppose now V1 is 10, V2 is 20. Now, generally, what is that? Here we don't have any conflict. So this is straightforward. What is that? V1 is a different variable, value is different. Then address is something. V2 is a different variable, value is something different. Value is not same way, 10, 20. Then it will be some other address. Now, when you compare this, V1 is V2. Now tell me what, please answer in the chat box. What is the output we get here? Do we get true or false this time? Do we get true or? Please answer in the chat box. Maybe please participate in this discussion and try to keep answering to my questions, friends, so that you don't feel boring also. In this case two, this is case two. So for this, what would be the output? Is it true or false? First, let's do that. Then we'll talk about the next scenario. So false. All of you are really good with this. Then maybe if you want to be more clear, what should we do? Why it is false means one quick check for that is print IDs and see ID of V1 and then print ID of V2. Okay, quickly check this. Now you can be very clear. By seeing addresses, you can decide, right, whether it is true or false. So now let's right click and then run this. Invalid syntax. Okay, let me just remove this. These are all, if at all, if you want to add these kind of statements, you have to put it in the string, I mean in the comment. Okay, now run this. Answer is false. All of you guessed it pretty well. Right. So we don't, this is fine. Now the coming back to this. I think this is clear, right? Why it is false means because the address of V1 is something, address of V2 is something. Both are different. Got it, friends? So perfectly V1 is not V2. So this is not true. This is false. That is fine. Right. Now going back to this. This is perfect scenario. But here, why in this case, when we see this, the answer is true. So variables are different, but still both addresses are same. Why it is so? That is another question. Now let's print these two addresses. Print. I'm going to talk about it. Maybe if you are little feeling. So V1, V2. So this is true only, right? What is the answer for this? True. Is this topic clear for you now? Okay. Now you can see here, but it's not V1. I should print ID of V1 and then ID of V2. Now let's run this. Now you can see here in the first case, V1 and V2 are this. We have two addresses. Address of V1 is this, address of V2 is this, but both are same. Right? Now we have to talk about it. When these two variables are different, why addresses are same? This is the discussion. This is a very important and very deeper concept actually. Now here, in this case, what should I do now? Let me take case 2. We don't have any issues. Let me give a very detailed discussion on this. This helps you to answer many interview questions as well. Okay, so this is case 1. I'm talking about it, addressing this question. Are these two variables different? Yes. Usually, if variables are different, address are different. But in this case, especially in Python, when the values are same, right? Even though variables are different, right? What happens? This returns both addresses same. Now, why we will talk about it? This is because of the concept of immutability. So again, I'm again repeating. When two variables are different, why addresses are same? It should be different, right? Is the question. For that, the answer is in Python. Yes, when address variables are different, there might be possibility that addresses might be same for both or different for both. When addresses are same, when the values you assign here, see here in for V1 you assign 10 and for V2 you assign 10. In both cases, you are assigning 10 to both to these variables V1 and V2. In such cases, the addresses will be same in Python due to internally Python is applying a concept called immutability. What is the concept here? Immutability. And again, you might ask me a question: what is immutability? You are confusing as Manohar, right? So means here an existing object can. I'll talk about it, friends. No issues with that. I'll talk about it. Okay, this is one thing. Second scenario: suppose your values are different. Then in that case, you are very clear about that. Okay, let's just jump to this immutability now. What happens in this scenario? Right? I'll clearly go step by step. Now, not of this concept is there even in Java also, but this is there only with strings and that what shall we say wrapper classes. This concept is applicable string and wrapper classes in Java. But here, this is applicable for all types. Okay, not only for Java. Now, let us see this now. I am using a paint for this. Just quickly explain for all of you. Observe carefully, friends. This will be very useful to you. Now, here, when you declare this variable for first time, this 10, what happens in memory? So usually any variable, let me start like this. You take any variable, usually if you declare any variable, it has some name, right? And some address. Suppose you declared A. A has some name. Let me just add something. So this is the location, right? So now when you have this location, when you are declaring variable, so what happens here? It will have some name here, some V1. And then also it has some address as well. Something like here I'm just taking 101, something like this. So every variable has what happens, friends? It has a name and it has an address. Excuse me. Now after this, now you are assigning a value, right? So, and I told in Python, everything is an object. Everything is an object. Now, first, this object is created in memory in Python. So here, an object is created for V1 in memory. Then what happens? What is that value you are assigning 10? That value is placed in this object. 10 is placed in this object. Now, this has some address. Assume that it is 101. Okay. And now this is how it's created. Leave about this one also. So this object has some address. Now what happens? This address, whatever you created here, is assigned to this variable V1. Now V1 has storing the address of this 10 here like this. Let me be more clear. Okay. So what is this V1 is doing? It is storing the address of the object 10. This is what happens when you declare this statement here at this line. So maybe in the program at if you see here, right, at line 82, when you declared V1 equal to 10, what happens now? Or at line 71, let's take this scenario. At line 71, when you declare V1, what happens here? So internally in memory, an object is created like this and that value is placed in that, and obviously every object has an address. Usually every object has a unique address. What address? Again, I'm pointing out every object has, let me just quickly tell you, every object has a unique address. I know this is a little deeper discussion, but this topic is very useful for you. Okay, right. That is one thing. Unique address only. Maybe there won't be any repetition of addresses. Keep in mind, friends. That is point one, point two. Right. Next, suppose now what you are doing now, you are declaring V2 at line 72 in the program. Now, what your interpreter will do when you are declaring second variable and assigning some value, your interpreter checks if this value which you assign to V2, is it already existing in memory? Is it 10 or 20 or 30? It will check the value first. Suppose if your value is 10, then what your interpreter does is it checks if it already exists in memory or not. I hope the statement is clear. When you assign for second time same value that is already assigned, what it does, it checks whether this object exists in memory or not. If it is already there in memory or not. So what is your answer? Yes, 10 is present already exist in memory. So it goes to memory and checks that. For second time you are declaring, friends, what you are doing, for second time you are declaring V2 equal to 10. Of course, variable is different, but value is same 10. Now what interpreter does? Does this 10 is already, does it exist already in memory or not? Yes. Answer is what? Yes. Then what your interpreter will do? If this object already exists in memory, it won't create a new object. Remember this statement, observe this statement clearly, friends. In this case, once it validates if this object 10 already exists in memory, it won't create a new object. If it creates a new object, your address is created, but it won't create a new object. Is this clear? So what it does then, it will simply, what it does, this your variable name is what? Your variable is V2, right? So this is V2. You might think a new object is created, but your interpreter doesn't do that. It checks, it already found that this object 10 exists in memory. It will simply copies the existing address to the V2 now. Now, V2 is pointing to the same object which was created for first time. V1 is also pointing to the same object which was created for first time. Suppose you created one more, you declared one more variable V3, and again you assign 10 only. Now what happens now? Again, what your interpreter will do, don't expect it creates a new object for V3. What it does, again it does the same check, whether this object already exists in memory or not. If this exists in memory, what it does, then it will check, it will go and check in memory. Yes, 10 already exists. Then what it does, it won't create a new object. Simply, what is that? It will simply again copy that 101 and put it into V3. So this is your V3 variable. 101 is again copied to V3 variable. So what is happening here? Now the question is, in the program, you might see three variables, but in memory, you are seeing how many objects? Please answer this, friends. In memory, how many objects are there, friends? Is it one object or two objects or three objects? Please answer. Please answer, friends. And please attentive and participate in this session. This is actually a very useful and beautiful concept. Okay, now you should understand the concept here. What is that? At program level, if it is first for the first time, if you are seeing this, you might think three variables, three objects. But if you know the concept and if you are already familiar, then you understand that here we don't have three objects, but we have only one object. So that's why that one object, that too, the address of that one object is copied to all these three variables, V1, V2, and V3. So that's why Again the same. That's why it comes again. That's why when you print this address, you see here, friends, suppose for third time also you print the ID. You see here, friends. So how interesting this is. But third time also you print V3, friends. What do you expect? You expect same address for these three. Why? Look at the at memory level what's happening. Memory level we don't have three objects. One object, one address, share it to all the three variables. So that's why observe this now. Right click and then run this. And you can see here three addresses are quite same. Three addresses are same. Why? Why? Because this is what happening internally. And this approach we call it as a technically, this is because of something called immutability. What is immutability? Friends, sir? Immutability means nothing, simple. Immutability means once you, means the meaning of that is you cannot modify something. So what is that? Immutability means I'll write here only, cannot modify an object. Okay, that is called immutability. And here some range of values in Python, let it be all numeric types. For all numeric types, what it does is not numeric, even for other types also. We'll check for strings also if needed. So for data types in Python, applies immutability up to certain range, especially yes for numeric types only. So up to certain range. What is immutability? When you assign a value like this, right? We cannot modify that object again and again. So what it does here, it creates an object and checks that whether that object already exists, and then it assigns the same value to other variables. That's what happens here. So what is the advantage with this now? What is the advantage with this now? Advantage with this is you are saving memory here. Observe this carefully. How you are saving? So if you don't apply this concept, right, we have to create three objects, three different objects for V1, V2, V3. Then if you create two more objects extra, it does it need more memory or not? Definitely we need more memory. But if this approach is applied, then you are saving a lot of memory here. So here in immutability, first thing you cannot modify an object. And second thing, in this case, what happens is once an object is created, then and in that case, if you try to assign same value again, then what happens? No new object is created. It won't create a new object for that again, but just simply share that object to the address of that object to all other variables which you declare in your program. So that's what happens in immutability. Again, next question. Suppose you modify this. Suppose here you say V3 equal to 13. All of a sudden, what this group has changed now. In this V3 had been modified. When you modify this, what happens? Do you think that this value will be replaced? Let me just show you. Do you think that this value is going to be replaced or what? No, because once you declare an object like this, we cannot modify this. This is immutable means we cannot modify. Why? Because already there are some dependent variables on that. If this modifies, you made a change for V3. If V3 is going to modify this object, then the other variables V1 and V2 will have an impact. That's why this object never gets modified. This is kept as is. So this will be kept as is. Okay. Now what happens now when you modify V3? A new object is created for V3. And then that 30 is placed into this object. And this have some new address, something 102, you just think. Now this new address is copied to V3. Means instead of 101, it places 102 in V3 now. This is what happens. This is the concept of immutability. When you try to modify that existing object, that object is not modified, but what your interpreter will do, Python interpreter creates a new object and a new address is assigned to that, and that address is replaced in this variable. That's what happens here. That's why this time, if you see here, when we run this program, let's again print it. Okay, let us do one thing. Let us split this. And now let's print this V3 here again. Before changing, we are printing. And after modifying, we are printing. Let's see the difference now. Why that change happens means if you have observed this, if you have listened to this discussion, now you should be very clear. Let's right click and then print here. Now you see these are all before changing. Now this one is after changing V3. Maybe you can use a print here. Print after V3 modified. I'm just adding like this, just to be clear. Now run this. Now you can see here after V3 modified, only the address of V3 got changed. But still for this one V1 and V2, they will be holding the same address. If you want me to prove what we do, again what instead of printing one by one, let's do one thing. Let's print all these three again. Now you will get a clear picture about this discussion with a practical proof. Now, in the first case, all the three addresses will be same. After modifying V3, still V1 and V2 will be same, but V3 will be different. Now let's run this. Right click and then run this. You can see now. Before modifying V3, all these three has same address, that V1, V2 and V3 variables. After modifying V3, V1 and V2 are same, but V3 got modified here. See here. So that is what happens in memory. Immutability means once an object is created, and if you try to declare same value again, if you declare a similar value again, what your interpreter does is it doesn't create a new object for that, but address of same value, same object which is already there is assigned to these variables. Then when this new object is created, only when you try to assign a different value here. And here, these objects are immutable objects. What are immutable? Once these objects are created in memory, if you cannot modify them. So what is that? If you try to change that variables, what happens? The existing object is not modified, but a new object is created, and that address is assigned to replaced in the modified variable. That's all. But the original one will be there, still there. Why? Because there are other variables which are referring to the already existing object. So that's why if we change this, automatically these V1 and V2 becomes impacted. Not to have that impact, what happens? In Python interpreter intelligently creates a new object only for that modified one. Here, if you see that modified one. And here, this is all what happens in memory. Now you should be very clear here. What is that? So when you assign same values like this, why, even though variables are different, why addresses are same? I think we had a very detailed discussion on this. I know for some beginners or someone, okay, some students, it might be little difficult, but for working people, this is a very good useful use case. I hope this is clear now, friends. So that's all about this. Now you can answer quick questions now. All of you are good with this? Are you ready to now let me ask quick questions. After understanding this, now case 2. Now in this case 2, now without executing, let me ask quick questions. So question, I have a question for you. Okay, after observe this concept, you can you can answer this now. So what is the answer? Question, how many objects are created in case 2? How many objects are created here? So what is your answer, friends? Here V1, V2. V1 is suppose you take some x1 and x2. Let's have different variables, not to change this. So how many objects do you have in case 2, under case 2? Only one object or two objects? What's your answer? Answer. Please answer in the chat box, friends. Perfect. I think I am getting quite a lot of answers. So happy to see this. So, and this is, yeah, answer is perfect. Two objects. Maybe if I ask me why two objects, just can you give me a quick answer? Why two objects here in this case? Why two objects, friends? Please answer in the chat box. Why 2 objects? Why not 1 object, or why not 3 objects? Why only 2? Because simple answer is, and in this case, both values are different. So 2 different objects are created. That's all right. Now I have another question. This is the last question in this. Okay, you have V1 equal to 10, V2 equal to 20, V3 equal to V1, and V4 equal to V3. Okay, and then V5 equal to 20. Now answer. How many objects are created here? How many objects are created here? These are all again, more for the certification exams. These questions are very useful for you for certification, also to understand concept. Now you have 5 variables, and how many objects are created? You can, maybe I'll give choices also here, multiple choice. 5 objects, that is one answer. And then answer 2. 4 objects, answer 3. 3 objects, answer 4. 2 objects, answer 5. 1 object, answer 6. 0 objects. One should be correct among all this. So what's your answer? Choose, pick one. If you, this is the easiest one. But if you want to answer it without knowing this concept, if you just look at that, you can't answer this. What's your answer, friends? 5 objects, 4 objects, 3 objects, 2 object, 1 object. What's your answer? Yep, no problem. Perfect. Many of you are, that's so awesome, I am happy for this, your answers. Okay. Answer is obviously 2 objects, right? Why? For first time we created 10, and second time we created 20. For third time we are assigning same value. Again, no new object is created. Fourth time we are assigning same value. No new object is created. Fifth time 20, this is already there. No new object is created. Then how many objects are there in memory? Just 2 objects. Maybe if you want to test it, what should we do now quickly? Simply just print it. What do you do? Print off ID of, just to confirm your validation. Print of V1, ID of V1, ID of V2, V3, V4, V5. Okay, let's do it. Let's make some change here. You can also print and test your answers. Okay, after answering, you can print and see how this is coming. Right click and then run and see here. So five addresses. See if these addresses are same or different. I'm seeing different addresses here. Just a minute. Yeah, no problem. Altogether, we should have 2 addresses. So 5344, 5344, 5344. Okay. And then perfect. We have only 2 addresses created. Of course, we are printing it multiple times. You might see multiple times, but here 5344 is the V11 first created, and 664 is 21. Same thing will be assigned to other 3 variables. So even though we print it for 5 times, we can see only 2 variables, 2 addresses getting printed interchangeably. You can see here, right? Perfect. I think now this concept is pretty clearly. Just a minute. I printed, you can see here V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, right? Yeah, definitely. So see, and more clear answer is here. What? Here 10 is different, 20 is different. So this time 2 different objects are created. Once after, again here v1 is already existing, so no new object is created and the same address of that is copied to v3. Same thing for v3 also. v3 is already existing, no new object is created, address is simply copied. So v5 again 20 is already existing, same address is copied. Perfect. v1, yes, correct Harish, yes. I believe this concept is very interesting, right? Just asking your feedback because usually when you go and when you start it for first time, you don't understand it quickly. It's a very deeper concept. But when you are clear, then you can answer a number of questions on this, right? So that's it, friends. This is all about when you just look at program level. This seems to be just a simple declarations. But when you go and check at memory level, you can see this much of information is there, right? And this is so useful scenarios. Many people don't have this idea, right? So again, check this, check on these things, friends, when you are, when you have some free time. So immutability means once an object is created, it is not modified. What is the advantage with this immutability? When you have immutability, we can save this memory. We can save memory with the concept of immutability. Right. What happens in this case of immutability? Once an object is declared and assigned with some value, when created and assigned to some variable, then second time if you declare same object, then no new object is created and the address of existing one will be simply copied to that new variable. That's all. So that's what happens with immutability, friends. Clear? So maybe you can go and check or explore a little more on this. This time you can easily understand all this stuff. And we have a few more things. This we'll cover tomorrow and jump to the another topic, what we call type conversion. And then we'll talk about data structures. Very useful concepts, data structure. Okay, tomorrow when you start in any project, these are very useful. Okay, we'll talk tomorrow. So that's it, friends. Thanks for your patience. And I am very happy with the answers more than anything. So this is what I just need from you. These answers. Okay. For manual, yeah, tomorrow I'll share you, Suresh. We can use that input method. That is a simple one only. We'll talk about it. Okay, I'll share this video back again. Yes, Vijay, please. What's your question? Maybe 1 minute. I'll just maybe I share. Let me just change. I'm just changing the meeting options. I think today this mic is. Yeah, you can talk now, Vijay. Or anyone, if you have any questions, please talk.
Can you share the screen also to share? I can't able to share my screen.
Yeah, now you can share your screen, Vijay, because I stopped sharing my screen. Maybe if you want, let me just try to add yours.
I still can't.
Okay, let me see. Vijay, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You have to make you presenter. Yes. You are a presenter now. You
Okay.
can share it
Yes.
now.
Yes. I can now. So I was just executing this in not in. I can't able to get. It's getting wrong for me. I don't know
No
why.
problem.
Let me share. So this is what I'm just.
Just a minute. For me, it's too small. Yeah. Now in an J, not in str. Okay. At line
I'm
20,
just. I'm
line
just
line.
removing.
Remove that because the variable is v, Vijay. It has to be str, right?
Oh. Oh, this one.
Yeah. Variable should
No,
be str, right?
we don't need to. Sorry,
Hmm.
I'm not. I did not get. So we don't give explicitly in Python, right? For Java, we give
No, you
string.
are trying to validate that if that substring exists in that variable or not. So here str is nothing but your variable. I just declared as str. So either
Oh,
you can
sorry,
say
that's the mistake I made.
either you change it to V or you change that V to str. Do any one
Okay,
of
got
these
it.
two.
Okay, okay.
So this will
It
work.
should be working now. Oh,
Yeah. Right. Now you're
okay,
good, right?
yes, I'm good.
That's
Thank
all.
you, thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Just practice
Thank you
it
very
more.
much.
That's all, Vijay.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
And any other
Thank you.
questions, friends? Any more questions, or are we good for now?
Yeah, we are good. But only that from complex object, is there any like we can get real and this one? Is there any use case
Yeah.
in real time?
Yeah, we can do that because it's a tuple, right? We can do
Uh,
that. Maybe let me just let me. Where is my Chrome? Because I don't remember it doing that.
uh,
Usually, we don't do much of
complex
complex
object.
things,
Okay.
Harish. Actually, so but let
Mm-hmm.
me just check how to get real part from complex. I can do that with what shall I say by converting string and we can extract it. What we can
Mm-hmm.
do?
Okay.
Convert that string
Yeah,
to
yeah, got it. Slice we
convert
can do. Mm.
convert that complex number to string, and then you can without checking itself. I can tell that if you want to get it. See, let me just
Mm-hmm.
give you a scenario without googling. I don't need Google also. Take an example of complex. You only tell me one complex number.
Anything that existing is also okay. 10 plus
10
20J.
plus 20 say you take this, okay?
Yeah.
So the one
Yeah.
way to extract the real and imaginary is simply speaking. So what you do,
We can
uh, convert to string.
string, and
Okay,
after converting to string,
correct.
we
Cn
can
equal
slice.
to
We can use slice.
str of cn1. Yeah, you can slice. There are multiple ways because this is a small, simple string, right? You can straight away
Uh,
get from this. You can simply say, right?
Split also we
Just
can
check.
use.
So how this
No,
works
no,
here?
no split.
How this string works here? Each one is treated as one character. It's not like 10 is one character and 20 is one character. So we have
Yeah.
it. The length of
Yes.
this string is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is there. Altogether, the
Correct.
length of the string is 6. Don't think that 10 is one character, 20 is one
No,
It
no,
won't
that's
consider
only
like
we
that.
had to use 0, comma, colon 2, right? Slice.
Correct. That's it. Simply speaking,
Uh,
so let me
uh,
show others also. If they were new, they can easily get that use case. Apply slicing, and then once you convert to string cn2 of what
uh,
I can ignore 0 and put 2 here. It gets first
yeah. I
to
think
this thing.
you're not presenting your screen. I think it's still
Oh,
loading.
am. Is it okay? I think while let's do
Yeah.
that. It's a very good, useful scenario. So now, so what we are doing here, we took a complex number, converted to string, and like
Mm.
slicing. When you do slice, what happens here, Harish? You got
Print.
one. Just a minute. We have some error. Let me fix it.
Yeah.
Str object is not callable. It's getting error here. Let me just check on this. Let me. This is just a method, conversion method. At which line? Maybe let us check at line 122. Here it is. We are getting an error. Uh, cn2 equal to str1 of cn1. It should work. We did even previously answer, right? Complex number 2 is not callable. Why 10 plus 20j? So now let me test it once. It should work actually, or otherwise we'll do one thing. Why to let me take a new file so that it should be fine. str is a built-in function. Why this is not working? Let me check. This is working now. Maybe there is some kind of conflict here for some reason. No problem. Maybe because I declared a local variable str somewhere here. Yes, because of this it should be. So it is getting conflict here between my variable which I declare here and the method I am using. Okay, suppose what we do is let's change this to str1, then it will work. Maybe if you have a question, Harish, it has to work because str is a built-in, but this is also a new learning. So in this case, when we apply here, why error means due to the conflict with existing variable. Now, what we did now, print cn2 of 0 colon sum 2. Then this gives you real part, right? This is real part. Then right click. Can you hear me, Harish?
Yeah.
Yeah. This time it's working. You can see here we don't have error at least. But where is the output? We should get that 10, right? Somewhere
Yeah, we should get 10 actually. Yeah.
it's printing all this. What's happening here?
Otherwise, we can take new file, but I think it is.
There is some error here. Okay.
Uh,
It stopped. It stopped. It didn't come to that point. You know, the Python, how it works,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Wherever there is
So
error, it
it
stops
will
there
stop
itself,
there.
right?
There
This is
is,
interpreted, right? It goes line by line, and whichever the error is there, then it will stop there. It doesn't comes to the next line. So this is one more
yeah.
good this thing. Now this time it will. You can see the output. Can you see now? It stopped where? It stopped at no. Again there is an error. Let me just fix it. This one. Somewhere we have some error here. str1 it should be. That's why. Again, see. Now you can see here. I have something. This is not actually a. Again, you see here. We are not slicing it properly. If you see, we forgot when we convert to string, it is converted as a tuple.
Okay.
So what is that?
Can we print CN2?
Yeah, no problem. We can print this, no issues. How would it be? It would be like this. Let me just quickly show you in here first. Okay, in the notepad, your this is the scenario, right? When you say 10 plus 20j, this is complex number. When you convert to string, it adds a tuple like this 10 plus 20j like this. Now we have to consider brackets also into the length of string. So how many characters are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have to include these brackets as well. Then slicing should go from first index onwards, not from 0. So what should I do now?
1 colon 3.
Here I should apply 1 and then 1 colon 3. Now run this. This will work. You got your real number now. You want imaginary, simply speaking. So imaginary is at what? So 1 and 2 is this one, right? And this is 3. This is from 4 onwards. No problem.
4 colon 6.
4. Yeah, 4 colon 6. Now right click. And if you do you want j also, because imaginary means it should have j suffix, right?
Yeah. If you want j also.
If you want j suffix, just add 7. Okay.
7.
Then you can apply this. Now you have real and imaginary separated pretty well.
Yeah.
So clear now?
Yeah.
So this will work. This is best approach, Harish, more than anything else. I don't think if you have any methods to get it, maybe you can Google it. So how to get real part from complex number in Python?
But real time we generally not use complex numbers.
It's very rare. I don't think I never use complex numbers. If you ask me, I didn't use complex numbers.
I think mostly,
Got it, right? Because our program, except when you are doing some scientific projects, then only there you need complex numbers. But in majority of our cases, You don't need. There is
like mostly in data science projects actually it will help.
see.
So they use
There is a simple and straightforward approach. I did this, but here, if you want to
real,
get real part,
real.
cn1 dot, there is a this one real, yes. To get real part, there is a even in that case also, we have actually created a program. How it that works internally. There is a code behind this, right? That code is this only. They do this like this.
Yeah, internally, yeah, got it. Yeah.
So what we did is we had gone to the roots of that these built-in ones. Now, if you run this is so straightforward now. 10 and 20. Now you have some decimals appended to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it has this is converted to decimal now. So this is case 2. This is case 1. You did the code and brought it yourself. Case 2. There is a wrapper which is a built-in, which is much more easier for us. Clear?
Yeah, got it.
So that's all, Harish. Any more questions?
Nothing.
That should be.
Small,
yeah.
One question.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Do you have any idea about Replit? REPLIT, Replit. It is a Python compiler and interpreter that we can use AI in that. Like you are searching for in the Google Chrome, right? We can do the same thing in the Replit. Do you have any idea? It is recently they are using, I think. Yeah, just click on
Replit,
Google. Yeah, it is a new IDE. They using for Python, which they integrated AI in that, so that if you want any code, we can just type in the question that I need a code for this, and that something you are typing in Google, we can type it in the Replit itself. It will give the code, everything.
That's awesome, right? Then this is a very good information. So anyhow, this is a recording, so that if anybody has that patience to come to this end of this session, so they come to a very useful point. What shall I say? Vijay,
So,
you got it right.
Vijay, so you can get the code. What you're telling?
Yes. Yeah.
No,
That is
asking.
easy. It is